Hello and welcome to Jazz Guitar Lessons Berlin. I'm Tina Jäckel and today I'm going to talk about practicing improvisation. I want to show you some exercises I got from Attila Mühl that really helped me a lot, and I'm going to improvise over the tune It Could Happen to You in E flat. And one of the first things that I do when I sit down for practicing improvisation is I actually play the melody, and I try to play the melody through the cycle of fifths. You get the idea. It's just my warm-up so that I would have the melody somehow in my head while I'm improvising, also to get my fingers and my hearing connected so that I have a better chance of playing what I hear. And the next thing that I do is I just put on a metronome and play the chords of the tune, some choruses. I just play them in a very minimal way. So I mean by that, I only play a chord on the 1, or if there are 2 chords, on the 1 and 3, but I won't play any fancy chords. I just try to keep the form and play some voicings that sound good. And after I have done those 2 things, play the melody and play the chords through the changes, I feel like I have the tune reactivated in my brain and now I can start improvising. One thing that I really like a lot is to practice improvisation using restrictions. So one thing that I do is I start playing lines with no time, and I just play ascending lines. I try to play as long as possible over the fretboard, but it doesn't have to be long lines. But the idea is that you always start with a low note and you always end up with a high note, and then your phrase is over, and then you again have to start with a low note and then end on a high note. And when I have a feeling that this works pretty well, I put on the metronome. I do this exact same thing. I try to play ascending lines all the time. Then I do the same trick with descending lines. First of all, I play the line from the highest note to the lowest note. No time again. It's kind of a rubato feel, which gives me the option to look for a note that I won't find. I do that for some time, and then again I put on the metronome and play descending lines all the time. So when I'm done with those exercises, I would put my metronome on 80, and 80 beats per minute equals quarter notes, and then I would play 8 notes all the time. I try to relax. I try to accept that I'm going to play a lot of stuff that I've already been playing for years or that I don't consider cool or hip anymore, but I just try to get with the flow and just play to the metronome, and then after a while, when I feel comfortable, I put the metronome on 80 beats per minute half notes. the metronome stays on the same tempo, but I interpret it, I think about it differently. You know, one time it's quarter notes, one time it's half notes, so I have to play double as fast, and then I still play 8 notes, and I try to stay relaxed and don't worry so much about my lines being cool or anything, but just like try to play the simple stuff that I can come up with and keep going. And then as a last exercise, I try to play some triplets. So I play triplets to 80 beats per minute again in quarter notes, and then in half notes. You can see that's already pretty fast for me, and I can't play consecutive triplet lines, but I still try to play in the triplet mode. So I think one of the best part of this exercise is that you have to keep the form all the time, and then you improvise over the form. And that's why I would also think that it would be great if you don't use a jam track, since the jam track will provide the form for you. And if you have to provide it by yourself and you can do it somehow, it will make you very strong, since you don't have to rely anymore on anybody else, a jam track or other musicians in your band, on giving you the right information, like it's the end of the A part or the end of the form. So, and if that's too hard, you still can break it down and take 2 chords, the first 2 chords or the first 4 chords. Give yourself the time, go away from the jam track. You can do it. So that's it for today. See you soon. Don't forget to write a comment. I would love to have a comment or a question. How do you practice improvisation? Which exercises do you use? See you soon. Bye.